Hello and welcome. This is Vanessa Growlish, and today we're going to talk about the math behind Monopoly, the game. Let's do some math. Let me show you first who invented Monopoly and why she invented it, and you're going to love this story. So first, let me tell you who is Elizabeth Maggie Phillips. So Elizabeth Maggie Phillips, and we can see here, she was born in 1866 and she died in 1948. And she was basically a feminist, a writer, and she invented the landlord's game, which is the game that existed before Monopoly. Now, what her intentions, basically what they were, she wanted to teach people what a monopoly, an anti-monopoly game could be, and how the rules, will play. Like a monopoly will be basically like a cruel game, and an anti-monopoly will be like a more fair game when it comes to taxes. And I'm going to explain you in a little bit this. But think of this. Her dad, this is who her dad was. James K. Maggie is a newspaper publisher and an abolitionist. Basically, an abolitionist was someone that, this is during the Civil War, that they didn't believe that, slavery was something that it was okay. And he was basically with Abraham Lincoln as he traveled around Illinois in the late 1850s. How crazy is that? So basically her dad is hanging out with Abraham Lincoln. And obviously, Elizabeth is just around intellectuals, politicians, newspapers. It was just incredible. I'm pretty sure that this is basically what gets her into be the type of woman that she was. So let's talk more about her. So this is basically what Elizabeth did. She was also a short story and a poetry writer. So she wrote poetry. She was a comedian. She was a stage actress, feminist, and she was also an engineer. At the age of 26, Maggie received a patent for her invention that made the typewriting process easier by allowing paper to go through the rollers more easily. Incredible, this woman. Oh my God. Wait, there's more. At the time, women were credited with less than 1% of all patents. She also worked as a news reporter for a brief time in the early 1900s. I mean, think about this woman in the 1900s being a news reporter. In 1910, at the age of 34, she married Albert Wallace Phillips. Now, Elizabeth Maggie Phillips, as you can see here, was a woman ahead of her time and extremely smart. And look what happened. So she wants to do this game to teach what they call, I think that they have it here, to illustrate basically the teachings of the economist Henry George. So what happens with Henry George is that he's an American political economist, as we can see here. And what he thought about to be the most, I guess, like the best way of solving poverty, he wrote a book in 1879, and he sold millions of these copies worldwide. They gave one of these books to Elizabeth, and that's how she comes up with the idea to build a game where you can show what is a monopoly, and also you can show what is an anti-monopoly. So she felt that this way, she could, pass these ideas in an easier manner. Brilliant. Like, what? Like, imagine how much the desire of this woman to say, I want to get my agenda out there, and this is what she did. So this is the landlord's game. Maggie first made her game known as the landlord's game, and it became very popular. Now, in 1903, she applied to the U.S. Patent Office for a patent on her board game, and they gave her the patent in 1904. What she wanted to do, and it says here, the game was designed to demonstrate the economic ill effects of land monopolism and the use of land value tax as a remedy. So basically what they were trying to explain, and I'm just going to show you here this New York Times articles. This is basically what her game was about. She created two sets of rules for her game, an anti-monopoly set in which all were rewarded when wealth was created, and a monopoly set in which the goal was to create monopolies and crush opponents. Her dualistic approach was a teaching tool meant to demonstrate that the first set of rules was morally superior. What? This woman was way of it, like, how crazy is this? Like, I feel like this is so incredible that someone believes something so strong that she says, I'm going to build a game so people can play with it and feel and actually learn from it. I mean, if you're not loving this woman, please, she's incredible. Now, then what happens? Daron, and this is basically the guy that created Monopoly. And then, okay, so we have Charles Darrow, and he sold, I think what it is that I think what it is that he took the game and modified it, and let me just show it to you here. Okay, so this was his game by Charles Darrow, right? But what he did is that she had the game that showed Monopoly and anti-monopolies, as you can see here on the land, excuse me, on the landlord's game. But then he just grabbed the Monopoly part, and that's when he calls it Monopoly, and that's when this game comes up. So then, I think it's like the brothers, Parker brothers, I think it is, yes. Then they are like, look, we want to get the rights for Monopoly. And they go ahead and they pay Elizabeth only $500. She literally has to fight to, it was just awful. She basically had to fight to demonstrate that not only, he actually took some of her rights and some of her ideas, but also that she was the creator of Monopoly, what we know, Monopoly is. Unfortunately, Elizabeth never got credit. And then, this is the best part of the story. And let me just go ahead and share you the last part of how she basically, is discovered. Let me show you right here. So there was hold on, this is a really good article that you have to read. But basically, this is what happened. Let me just go ahead and just tell you. Okay, so then we have someone else that wanted to create an anti-monopoly game. And when he wanted to do that, then the Parker brothers, they were like, well, we don't think so, blah, blah, blah. So this is basically what it is. Maggie's identity as Monopoly's inventor was uncovered by accident. In 1973, Ralph Amspanch, I don't know if I said it correctly, an economic professor, began a decade-long legal battle against Parker brothers over the creation of his anti-monopoly game. In researching his case, he uncovered Maggie's patents and Monopoly's full game roots. He became consumed with telling his truth of what he calls the Monopoly lie. So think about this. No one knew about Maggie or basically, all that work and her ideas until this guy said, no, look, this is the real creator of Monopoly. So she never got the credit that she deserved. He won the right to produce his anti-monopoly game, and his research into Maggie and the game's origins, was confirmed. Think about how crazy. Elizabeth Phillips was an incredible woman. This is, okay, so I want to show you here. So she wasn't married until she was 44. And what she did, because she worked for a newspaper, she basically purchased an advertisement where she offered herself for sales. And this is what she says. This is, again, incredible woman. Young woman, American slave to the highest bidder. Her ads say that she was not beautiful, but very attractive, and that she had features full of characters and strength, yet truly feminine. And yes, she got married. And then, of course, this news went all over and people were like, oh my God, who's Elizabeth? And then when they were talking about, in the newspapers, what she thought about this, she basically says, we're not machines, Maggie said. Girls have minds, desires, hopes, and ambitions. Elizabeth, thank you. So this is it. How incredible the story of Monopoly. I welcome you to read this story. I welcome you to play the game Monopoly. It's a great game and it's a lot of fun. And it basically does show you what you can do when you have a monopoly in real estate. So stay tuned for the next episode coming pretty soon. Thank you so much and have a math day.